Well, an old snake went to his doctor and told him, "Doc, I think I need something for my eyes. My vision is not very good nowadays." And the doctor fixed him up with a pair of glasses and told him to return in a couple of weeks for a checkup. So when he returned 2 weeks later, the doctor asked how his vision was since he had the new glasses. And the snake replied, "Great. Only problem is now I'm very depressed." "Why are you depressed?" asked the doctor. "Didn't the glasses help?" "Oh, the glasses are great, Doc," replied the snake. "The problem is, when I got home with them, I realized I've been living with a garden hose for the past couple of years." I know. You say you like groaners, I give you groaners. The power of vision. So, I'm all excited because I love this time of year. I love the season for peace and nonviolence. And it's not like we don't hear about peace and nonviolence and unity throughout the year, but there's something about a focus. You know, for the next 64 days, we are focused. And it just seems like the perfect time to be in that focus, doesn't it? So let me give you a little background about it. So this 64-day focus was founded in 1998 by Dr. Arun Gandhi, grandson of Mohandas Gandhi. And I've been asked to give a little plug for remember the Unity magazine that I gave you, we gave you for free? Bill Sunderman, our licensed Unity teacher, said, "Please tell everyone to read," because it talks all about Arun. This is Arun Gandhi, and he talks about nonviolence in this issue. So there's the plug, Bill. Got it covered. All right, so this Season for Peace and Nonviolence was founded in 1998 with Dr. Arun Gandhi and the Association for Global New Thought. I don't know if you've heard about that organization, but they are a group of New Thought leaders. New Thought meaning unity, religious science, and divine science, and lay people passionately committed to giving the New Thought movement a clear voice and presence on the global stage. So the goal of the Association for Global New Thought's programs is spiritually guided activism to support concerned and informed citizens in their emerging role as ethically motivated community leaders. Spiritually guided activism is characterized by religious, racial, and cultural inclusiveness. It promotes a non-hierarchical power ideology and is unconditionally nonviolent. So the purpose of this season for peace and nonviolence is to focus attention on the philosophy of attaining peace through nonviolent action, as demonstrated by legendary leaders Mohandas Gandhi, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Cesar Chavez, and President Nelson Mandela, as well as living legends such as His Holiness Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. So, as we know, each of these leaders lived and are living into their vision for peace, equality, justice, kindness, and unity from a commitment to nonviolence. And they did and are doing what was theirs to do, what is theirs to do, in their unique and powerful ways. And what a model they have been and are for us, aren't they? So, and we talked about this a little bit on Martin Luther King's birthday, but I just want to revisit. What is your vision for peace for the world? What is your vision of peace for your life? And maybe you don't know right offhand. Maybe you say, well, I don't really have a vision for peace. But I bet you do have a thought, I would imagine, that when you hear the news or you read something on Facebook or wherever, that stirs you, that it's like, I don't know, I don't like that. That doesn't feel good to me. And when we have these experiences, if we pay attention in that moment, forever how brief or long, there's a snapshot in our mind of something different. Something different that we want to see. A different experience we want the world and all of us to be having. And so I wanted to talk about vision. Vision. What is a vision? A vision is something that's greater than what we're experiencing right now. It's kind of a context in which we live into that calls us to be bigger. That calls us to be a greater consciousness. To be what we've never been before and do what we've never done before. It calls us to a greater standard of being, doing, and living. And Martin Luther King and others like him held a greater vision for humanity. And again, I wonder if these beautiful leaders had not, where we would be. There's a verse from Proverbs that says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Because you know, folks, do you know how you feel when you feel stuck? It doesn't feel very good, does it? Stagnation is a form of death. And we, as humans, we need to evolve. We need to evolve. We need to keep living into our eternalness. We need to keep living into our infiniteness in order to feel alive. And I can't think of a greater tool than to have a vision for our lives and for our world that calls us into our eternalness, calls us into our divine nature expressing in the greatest way. And I really believe that each of us has a calling. I believe that each of us has a vision. And it might be for our family, for our relationships, for our workplace, for our world, for our community, for this community. And that as each of us steps into that, we make our own difference. Because as we know, as we're in action and as we create something different in the world, it impacts the whole. And so what is your vision? Do you know it? Carl Jung, Swiss psychiatrist and the founder of analytical psychology, said this: your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. So what is stirring you? What is calling you? What is like tugging at you? In this very tumultuous time, what is it that when you hear something or you see something that might rattle you to your core, what is calling you? What is tugging at you? That you just can't take it anymore. Have you ever had that feeling? It's like you just feel like you just can't take it anymore. This is not okay anymore. And I found a story of a man named Wu Fang. Wu Fang was a Manchurian diplomat in the 1700s who was posted with an Aboriginal tribe in the outskirts of Taiwan. And Wu Fang befriended the Aboriginal chief, whose tribe had the custom of beheading one of its members every year as a form of sacrifice. Each year, Wu Fang pleaded with all of his compassion and reverence for life that the chief put an end to this custom. The chief would listen respectfully as Wu Fang would plead, And thus, after listening and bowing, the chief would summon the chosen tribe member and without hesitation, behead him. Finally, after living with the tribe for 25 years, Wu Fang once more pleaded with the chief to stop this senseless killing. But this time, when the tribe member was called forth, Wu Fang took his place and said, "If you will kill this time, it will be me." The chief stared long into his friend's eyes, and having grown to love Wu Fang, could not kill him. From that day, this practice of beheading stopped. It was no longer tolerable for Wu Fang to not live the truth he knew on the inside. And see, what I know is that when we aren't living our truth, it noodles us. It gets at us. We know at some level we're not living in integrity with what we know is true. And so what is ours to do? What is ours to do? Well, yesterday I was here with folks that are in the new member class, and we were reviewing our fifth principle, actually all of our principles, our 5 principles in unity. And the 5th principle says, it's not okay to know the truth and not live it. That we get to live the truth we know. We get to put feet on our faith and our knowing. And that really stirred me again. Every single time I go over these 5 principles and I get to that 5th one, it always gets me. Because that's what took me on this path of unity. Because unity is about the practical application of spiritual principles, meaning living them in our lives. So folks, what is ours to do? And why don't we do it? I think sometimes what I know about living here in this area again, everybody is really busy. We're really busy. And sometimes it can feel like, can I take one more thing on? Can I do one more thing? Because sometimes, folks, when we look out, it can also feel very overwhelming. And it can be a little inconvenient to disrupt our schedule and to add one more thing. But finally, I was reminded by a story from the New Testament, the Good Samaritan. Remember that story? I just wanted to bring it to our awareness this morning. Remember, it was a traveler, probably Jewish, was beaten and robbed, and his body was left half dead along the road. And a Levite and a priest, both religious men, walked right past. And who stopped to help this man was a Samaritan. And the background of the Samaritans were that they were despised by the Jews. They were a mixed race. But from Luke chapter 10, it said, when he saw him, he was moved with compassion, came to him and bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. He set him on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him. On the next day when he departed, he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the host and said to him, take care of him. Whatever you spend beyond that, I will repay you when I return. A good person, from the compassion and love in his heart, stopped, not knowing how it would be received. So folks, this is really a simple message on this opening of Season for Peace and Nonviolence. What is ours to do that is uniquely ours to do? That if it's to be, it's up to us. Because we are the vision. And I think sometimes we can get ourselves in a pickle, not only in our own individual lives, but in our world and in our government when we look to one person to do something. We are the change we're calling for. We are it. And as I look out into this room, I see bright lights of people that have so much love in their hearts. And so what is yours to do that is uniquely yours to do? What is the vision on your heart that on this opening of the season for peace and nonviolence is calling you to be a stand in your life for peace, to be a stand in your life for nonviolence? What is it that would not happen unless you said yes? And so I just invite you in this coming week to be in discernment about that. What is your call? What's tugging at your heart? What is your vision that is uniquely yours to unfold in this world? The world is waiting. It welcomes it. And we're here to support each other. I really want to support you in coming to this activism class. This was Edie's idea, because Edie went to the march and she got all fired up. And so what's ours to do? Let's come together and let's have some conversations about what does this mean for us as a spiritual community. Activism is just saying, I'm going to actively follow my vision. And we're going to do this from the inside out. We're going to do this and be this from love versus fear. Say yes? All right, let's affirm together. I claim my vision and know if it's to be, it's up to me. And so it is.